Let's be honest, South Africa's education system is a hot mess. No, scratch that. It's a dumpster fire that keeps burning no matter how much water you throw at it. From daycare to university, our education system is like that one cousin we all have. Unreliable, always disappointing, and somehow still asking for money. The only thing it seems to teach these days with consistency is disappointment. And let me tell you, the students are tired. The parents are tired. Even the teachers are tired. The intelligent people like me are tired. The system is failing everyone. But instead of fixing it, the government is out here debating whether kids should be allowed to bring their cell phones to school. Spoiler alert, the kids don't need cell phones. What they need is textbooks, something they clearly don't have. So let's start at the very beginning, daycares. You'd think daycares are supposed to be places where toddlers learn basic social skills, right? And maybe draw a stick figure, learn their ABCs. But no, here in South Africa, many daycares are glorified babysitting hubs. Most of the time, kids are just running around while the caregivers sip tea and watch Uzalo repeats. You'll pay thousands of rand a month as a parent for your child to come home, knowing how to count to 10 in English only. And let's not even get started on the food. Because what are these kids eating? Oh, just a slice of white bread and juice, so diluted it's basically colored water. And then there are the so-called Montessori schools, where you're promised creativity and innovation. But instead, your child ends up spending 3 hours a day sitting in a corner pretending to be a tree. Sure, it's adorable, but will it help them in grade 1? You tell me that. Primary school in South Africa is where the cracks in the system really start to show. Because first of all, why is it that so many schools are without basic facilities? No running water, no toilets, and let's not forget the mud schools that look like they are straight out of a post-apocalyptic horror movie. But it's fine, right? It's fine, because instead of building proper classrooms, the Department of Education is busy changing the curriculum every 5 damn minutes. And the teachers, don't even get me started. While there are many that are hardworking, from my experience, I've seen them, dedicated teachers, the system is so broken that even the best teachers struggle to keep up. How are they supposed to teach when the government won't even give them enough resources to teach good in the first place? And let's not ignore the teachers who like to do things like assigning homework only to tell you the next day, "Oh, I forgot to check it, my child, come tomorrow." Ma'am, you didn't forget to do it. In fact, that is embarrassing because my parents fought me the whole night to get it done, and then you're gonna tell me that baloney. Now, before we dive any deeper into this hot mess called the education system, I have some very important news to share with you. Did you guess it yet? That's right, your boy is monetized. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, my suffering, my rants, my sleepless nights editing videos have finally paid off. Google Ads has blessed me, and now I'm one step closer to not having to survive on 2-minute Maggi noodles and tap water. Can you believe it? And since I know you're such a loving audience, I have to say, don't be shy, eh? Don't be afraid to just hit that donate button. You know that one with the heart that says thanks. Yeah, just press that one. As low as 20 rand, man, guys. Just put for me there, man. How? I'm not asking for much, am I? I don't want a Porsche or a mansion yet. All I'm asking for is a bit of just change, like leftover money you have, so that I can go to the coolers in the spaza shop here at this corner and then buy white bread, man, instead of that brown stuff that crumbles before you even butter it. You know that bread I'm talking about, the kind of bread that disappears halfway through your peanut butter sandwich, leaving you holding nothing but vibes. See, so guys, just slip in some of that money, man. I can just get white bread, man, for a change. Come on, good people. I'm editing on a laptop that sounds like a taxi engine here. One day it's gonna overheat and shut down while I'm mid-rant, and then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do without my videos? Go back to listening to Cyril Ramaphosa's lies in the SABC when he addresses the nation 1,000 times a year. I thought so. So with enough support, I could also finally afford to be doing non-profit charities, like visiting the schools where the kids use pit holes as toilets instead of actual toilets, motivating them that isn't their fate. You know, those poor schools with the kids being beaten down by poverty, right? And I educate the children far better than their salary desperate teachers. Just think about that. Think about what Summer Sambit can do for this country. Of course, I'll be visiting the private schools too and stuff, but you get the idea, man. Imagine the material I can get from that. Imagine the roast material I can get from that. Imagine the video production I can get from your donations. So yes, long story short, every little bit helps. Whether it's 2 rand, 200 rand, your donation ensures that I can keep dropping these truth bombs and calling out the madness in our country. And who knows, just with enough support, maybe I'll finally afford to eat something other than the cheapest Simba chips at the spaza shop in the corner. So donate now. Because an intelligent YouTuber is a happier YouTuber when they don't have to borrow data bundles to upload their videos. Now, back to SA's marinated education system. Because by the time students get to high school, it's already clear that the system is failing them. Let's talk about the infamous pass mark of 30% and 40%. 30%! In which universe is this acceptable? You mean to tell me that if I know a third of my work, I can move on to the next grade? Imagine a doctor who only knows 30% of medical procedures, or an engineer who only understands 30% of bridge construction. Would you trust them? I thought so. And then there's the matric exams, a national stress event that turns students into zombies. The pressure is immense, but for what? To pass an exam that may or may not be marked properly? Don't forget the leaked papers that pop up every single year. It's like an unspoken tradition at this point. Oh, it's November? Well, time for another maths paper to mysteriously appear on WhatsApp. Am I right? Those dodgy WhatsApp groups. Now let's talk about the biggest scam of all times. Free education. Ah yes, that magical promise they keep dangling in front of you like a carrot in front of a donkey. You've got politicians standing on podiums, swearing on their ancestors that free education is around the corner. Meanwhile, that corner just feels like it's in another galaxy, because where is it really? I want to break this down for you. On paper, free education sounds amazing, doesn't it? But the reality is that it's a scam of epic proportions. Sure, they'll tell you tuition is covered and all of that. But have you seen the other costs? You still have to pay for the textbooks that cost more than a full tank of petrol, registration fees that can make your wallet weep, and don't even get me started on the cost of residence. And by the time you finish going through that chaos called school life in SA, most of the time you'll need funding after going broke by paying for all of that. And that's where NSFAS comes in, our beloved National Student Financial Aid Scheme. NSFAS is basically that unreliable friend who promises to pay you back but keeps forgetting their wallet. Students get their funding 2 months late, but the university still expects you to have books and food on day one. How sway? How? How, I ask. And when you complain about it, what do they say? Oh, we are working on it. These people have been working on it longer than ESCOM has been fixing the grid. At this point, I'm convinced that by the time they sort out free education, the textbooks will be holograms and we'll all be studying with VR Google sets. Because at this point, here's another thing no one wants to admit. Half the qualifications coming out of our education system are useless. Let's be honest. When was the last time you saw someone land a dream job with a degree they wanted in something like heritage studies, for example? Exactly. Because South African universities are churning out graduates with degrees that sound like they belong in a Harry Potter book. Bachelor of Arts in Indigenous Knowledge Systems or Diploma in Grass Management. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What even is that? Are you managing grass? Are you negotiating with the lawn or something? But it's not just about the funny sounding degrees. It's about how they actually prepare you for the real world. Like they love to say, employers are out here asking for 5 years of experience for entry-level jobs. You've got people like Angie Moteja saying that. Meanwhile, you spent 4 years learning theories that nobody cares about. Can you imagine walking into an interview with your Bachelor of Arts in ancient beadwork and trying to explain how that qualifies to your data analysis? It's simple madness. And the problem isn't just with the universities, it's with the system itself. Schools are churning out matriculants who can barely read, write, speak English, or do basic math. How are they supposed to survive in university? It's like training someone to ride a bicycle when throwing them into the Tour de France. Let's not even talk about how the education system isn't preparing people for the industries that actually matter. Coding? Robotics? Engineering? Nah. We're over here still teaching kids how to dissect frogs as if that's gonna get them hired. Am I right? The world is moving forward at lightning speed and we're out here stuck in the Stone Age. Shush helicopter, Summer Sambit is doing a video. If South Africa's education system was a student, it would fail its own exams. Let's not even touch on the schools that still use corporal punishment in 2025, like it's the 1980s. And what about the overcrowded classrooms? 1 teacher, 50 students, and 1 whiteboard marker that's running out of ink. And how is anyone supposed to learn in such an environment? Yeah. Speaking Speaking of disappointing and toxic environments, I'd like to call out a certain type of institution that's famous, no, infamous for having such environments. TVET colleges, the ones Angie Muteja loves so much. These days, when you hear TVET college, when you tell a random parent you joined a TVET college, what do they immediately think? I'll tell you, here's what they think. Oh, it means he or she couldn't get into university. Because TVETs are treated like the black sheep of the education system, but they're supposed to be crucial for skill development. Instead, they're underfunded, understaffed, and hell of overcrowded. Students are promised practical skills, but end up learning from outdated textbooks and broken equipment. And don't even get me started on the admin. You'll spend 6 months trying to register, only to find out your file was misplaced. I'm saying this from experience. Now we get into the big leagues, right after TVET. Universities! If you thought the nightmare ended in high school, you're in for a very rude awakening. Because first of all, the fees. Why does it cost the price of a small car just to get an education? Isn't NESWA supposed to help? Well, half the time you see the money arrives late or it doesn't arrive at all. So all you're left doing is attending lectures hungry, borrowing books from classmates, and praying your landlord doesn't kick you out, looking like Michael Jackson when he had makeup on for the Thriller music video. And let's talk about the strikes. Every year, without fail, there is a protest in one of these big universities. Whether it's about fees, accommodation, or exam schedules, something is always on fire, man. Sometimes literally. Because while the students are out here fighting for their rights, the university management is sitting in air-conditioned offices, sipping imported coffee, and pretending they don't hear the chants outside. Amazing, isn't it? Then there is the quality of education. Some lecturers are fantastic. I say this from experience once again. But others, let's just say you're better off watching a YouTube tutorial. And what's with the outdated curriculums? You're learning theories from 1985. Before the dawn of democracy in South Africa, when Michael Jackson was still black, while the rest of the world is using AI to solve the real world's problems. Of course, we can't talk about the education system without pointing fingers at the people I always love to point fingers at so much, the people responsible for what you and I eat every day, the government. The Department of Basic Education seems to have mastered the art of making promises it can't keep. Tell me about it. Every year, we are told about new infrastructure projects, better resources, Makashule slimming, and improved teacher training. But where is it? Where are the results? Has Makashule's belly gotten any smaller? But instead of addressing the real issues here, the government is busy focusing on irrelevant things, like debating whether kids should be allowed to wear hairstyles that represent their culture. Let the kids wear their afros and dreadlocks in peace, okay? How about fixing the broken toilets first before judging the child's hair? Because at this point, you're probably wondering, is there any hope? Well, honestly, the system needs a complete overhaul. Here's what Summer Sambet has to say about S's education system. It needs more funding, better teacher training, updated curriculums, and a focus on practical skills are just the start. But will that even happen? No, not if the government keeps prioritizing luxury cars over school supplies. So what can we do? Start holding leaders accountable. Demand better. And if you're a student watching this, do your best to educate yourself outside the classroom, okay? Read books, watch tutorials, watch Summer Sambit, learn skills that will actually help you in the real world. Because let's face it, the system isn't going to change anytime soon, okay? I don't want to lie to you. I'm the father you never thought you needed. And because of that, I'm here to tell you it's up to you to make the most of what you have. The South African education system is broken, it's ruined. But that doesn't mean you have to be. So it's time to stop accepting mediocrity and start fighting for what? The future you deserve. Because if you don't, who will?